All right, ladies and gentlemen, apologies for that. Welcome back to the All American Savage Show podcast. I'm your host, John Burke, here with my beautiful bearded husband. That's not Jewish. That sometimes I say is Jewish, Josh.
What's up?
Beautiful Josh. I love Josh so much. Such a good guy. Such a good guy. All right, so there is a lot to unpack here. There's a lot to go over, quite honestly, and there's a lot of people out there that are very upset with what the president's remarks were last night. So for those that missed it, the president came on and outlined a 6-point plan for his COVID-19 response. This comes on the heels of a very failed Afghanistan withdrawal. Right now, the eyes of the world are looking at the Biden administration, and essentially our allies are finger-pointing. Americans on both sides of the aisle are finger-pointing. Joe Biden administration cost men and women overseas their lives from a botched withdrawal. And I've said it before, I don't blame the Taliban takeover on Joe Biden or his administration. We knew that was coming. But the lives of the 13, their blood is on his hands. Previously, this was seen across the world. And right now, the Biden administration is looking for a slam dunk. They're looking for something to stand on. They're looking for something they can weaponize and use for propaganda reasonings to say that they are standing for the American people. They're looking for a win right now. And the only way to do that is these draconian restrictions that he has now pushed out. And I'm paraphrasing here. But in those restrictions, Biden talked about federal mandates for vaccines and masks for federal workers and employees. Mandates that when he first took office said that there will be a mask mandate that they themselves did not practice on Capitol Hill. He talked about how he will never enforce those mask mandates in an interview that I've posted to my Instagram account, Sergeant Savage 1776. You can literally hear him and Jen Psaki saying that that's not the federal government's role. They lied. Their lies are clear as day, and they are flagrantly flaunting their violation of constitutionally protected rights of citizens on a daily basis. And Democrats are supporting this. Some conservatives are supporting this, and many are also not supporting this. The propaganda machine of the MSM right now is churning out articles left and right, trying to demonize you, painting you as anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers, anti-all these things, when that's actually not the case. And this is what the Democrats do, ladies and gentlemen. They try and utilize inaccurate reporting and propaganda to paint you as something you're not, when instead, many people that are standing on the opposite side of what Biden's administration is representing are actually, in fact, vaccinated themselves, saying we believe in liberty and freedom to choose. Many are not taking a stand right now. Many of you are afraid. Right now, Biden's vaccination policy immediately is being fought against many Republican governors out there. Kristi Noem is leading the charge. Greg Abbott, Ron DeSantis, many other governors are stepping up. So for those that are sitting there screaming for Republicans to fight back, the governors are. Now, I am no qualified professional to speak on matters of law. I'm not a lawyer. I've been watching Ben Shapiro. I've been watching the experts on this, and we all know this is going to the courts first. It will be fought in the courts. And in my mindset, it'll be fought successfully. Now, businesses right now do not have to comply. This is tyrannical. This is in direct violation to human rights, the rights of free citizens that our forefathers fought for and died for. You do not have to comply with this. Now, Biden said businesses of upwards of 100 personnel or employees will be required to force this vaccine on their employees or be fired. This is the tactic he's going to use. He's going to use an economic freeze or an economic isolation of citizens that refuse to take the jab, saying that, just like Australia, if you do not comply, you will not be able to work, you will not be able to feed your family, and all based around this nucleus of an argument that this is for the safety of those that are vaccinated. But Biden himself has said that the vaccination does not prevent you from getting COVID. So then what are you worried about? Right now, we have an administration grasping at straws to get a win, and they're using tyrannical methods to do so. And it's pathetic. Resist, do not comply. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Now, one thing I would like to caution you against is thinking that you're alone in your endeavors. Just on my Instagram last night, my normal one, my public one, my messages blew up like I have never seen them blow up before. It got to the point where I couldn't even count the number of messages anymore of people saying that we will not comply. There's a police station in Missouri where all the cops walked off. Literally every single cop walked out. It's not being reported on. It's not mainstream. You have teachers walking off the job. You have medical personnel and professionals walking off the job. It's not being shown by the press. Why? Because they want you to feel like you are the minority. You're not. You are not the minority. To those in the military, there are whistleblower pages all over Instagram. Contact them with your stories. They're sharing them left and right. These tyrannical overlords in uniforms are standing in direct violations of the oaths that they swore to protect the Constitution. The Constitution supersedes the President of the United States of America, who then turns around and tries to violate it. These overlords in uniforms are nothing more than pieces of shit, traitors to an oath. And they deserve that which traitors rightfully deserve. That uniform does not protect you, ladies and gentlemen. That badge does not protect you, ladies and gentlemen. When you violate the individual rights of free citizens, that which you wear does not protect you based upon that which you choose to do. Stand in unison together. And the way to fight back on this is to group up. You've got them by the balls economically. If every single trucker out there halted the wheels of commerce, it would cripple this economy. You don't realize the power that you have inside each and every single one of you, that when you collectively unite, you control America. You need to understand and realize this. To every single nurse and doctor that choose instead to walk off the job saying, I have fought against this COVID pandemic or plandemic, whatever you want to call it, for over 18 months now without being vaccinated, being on the front lines, and now you say that unless I get this jab that I don't trust, I'm out of a job. Where's the loyalty there? Doesn't exist. Big tech giants are trying to censor and squash any dissenting opinions or information. They want to silence you. This has been proven every day. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not a propagandist. There are many people on my own side that I stand against when it comes to propagandizing bullshit. QAnon, Turning Point, Trump loyalists, those that went against the Constitution and said nothing. But I'm telling you right now, since 2015, I've been calling this. The military was weakened under the Obama administration. Political correctness weakened our society. And these are the results. Small businesses, it's up to you now. Big businesses, it's up to you now. And I'll take it a step further. I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran influencer, whatever you want to call it. Right now, I'm waiting. I'm waiting and I'm listening. Because there's a lot of you motherfuckers out there that wore the same goddamn uniform as I did. That since I've been online and on social media, I've seen you embrace this culture of brovedism, freedom, guns, boobs, coffee, booze, whatever you want to call it. But where are you now? Where are you now when the Constitution is in jeopardy? Where are you? Your silence is deafening. You want to stay out of it? Then from here forward, being that you've been quiet, and those that refuse to step out into the spotlight and make their voices heard, the veteran community will remember it, and justifiably so. And the only issue I take is that you sat there and you took a pro-liberty stance to make your company successful. And now when liberty is in jeopardy, you say nothing. And yet I get messages that behind closed doors, you're actually pushing for the jab on your employees. Oh yes, word gets out. And when I once actually stood for you and by your side, no longer will I do that. The lines have been drawn. When the President of the United States of America comes out and says, our patience is growing thin. We've lost so much because of you. Those are words of war, ladies and gentlemen. Those are threats, veiled threats against American citizens. This will be fought in the courts. And I pray that we win. I know we'll win. The people have the power. You just need to realize this and understand it. And I promised a long time ago, well, maybe not that long time, Shell Shock CBD would not get political. We'd stay out of politics. It's foolish to mix the two. I broke that promise today. Shell Shock will not enforce mandatory vaccinations. And people are going to say, well, John, he said 100 employees or more. If you really think that's where the line stops, you're wrong. It will continue, and those numbers will decrease. Employees or businesses with 50 employees or more. And as Shell Shock grows, that's become a problem. It will become a problem. And I'm telling you right now, we will never mandate this. We will never tolerate it, and we'll never stand for it. It won't happen. Businesses stand together in solidarity. Encourage one another. The doomsayers out there need to be quiet. Now is not the time for you to sit there and whine about Republicans not doing anything. Our governors are fighting back. They're doing what they can, what's within their power. Congress, we're crippled. We've got no movement. They've got the holy trifecta. They own it all. There's nothing our congressmen and women can do except motivate the people to take charge. It starts with you, the free people of America, to push back. Military members that are afraid of losing your careers. It's a possibility. But each and every single one of you listening to my voice and watching me live right now, you need to think on this. Many of you are scared right now because you're afraid of the unknown of what's to come. I can tell you right now, you're justified in your feelings. I understand that. I get it. But look to the future, because there will come a day when you are going to have to face the ramifications of your decisions that you make now when it's most crucial, when it's most important. You're going to have to face your children and your grandchildren. This is history. We are making history. And there will come a time where you will have to atone for the side you chose. You choose the side of freedom and liberty that encompasses vaccinated people and unvaccinated people, or you choose the side of a tyrant. And you choose the sides of liberals that want to see you in camps, that want to see you dead. You have Jimmy Kimmel on live television saying that we should be denied health care. These are not Americans, ladies and gentlemen. These are your enemies. These are the people that want to see you dead. These are the people that want to see you on train cars, loaded up into camps for retraining. Don't make any qualms about it. These people have no love for you. They may be American, but they're American in name only. They are not the descendants of those that we come from. We were born from patriots that took on the British Empire, whose families and lives were jeopardized, that said, if you refuse, we will kill you. We will kill all of you. And they stood in unison and they fought back. And thus, the birth of a nation, a great nation. And that nation's not gone. It's time for the silent majority to get loud. It's time for all of you to raise your voices and speak up, to contact your elected representatives to get in this fight. Now, there's rumors here in Texas of certain political people running, calling for the secession of Texas. This is stupid. This is ignorant. Stop it. Influencers that don't know dick about politics need to shut their fucking mouths. You are doing far more damage than anybody else out there with your outlandish opinions that make no fucking sense. Texas does not need to take our ball and go home. We need to unite with other states and fight this as one. To sit there and isolate ourselves economically and our military is the most foolish thing we can do. Do not buy into this rhetoric. Think. I understand tempers are running high. We're all angry, but think before you act. Do not get violent. It's not the time yet. Let the courts have their day. And don't forget, we own the Supreme Court. Have faith in your fellow countrymen doing the right thing. Don't despair. You have the blood of patriots in your veins. That's who we're from. And whether you believe it or not, the eyes of the world are watching us right now. I get messages from people in Australia, England, Germany. They say, we're watching you. We're watching the patriotism that so many Americans are displaying right now. We're watching your fight. Even they know the MSM censors us. They see it. America is the last bastion of freedom. Choose this day where you stand, ladies and gentlemen, and do not be afraid. Do not let the voices of the weak drown you out. Stand for what's right, because this is what's right. You know it in your hearts. You know what right looks like. Don't be scared. Now let's get into it. White House's Ron Klain panned retweeting post on ultimate workaround for federal vaccine mandate. Ronald Klain, the White House chief of staff, faced criticisms on social media Thursday after he retweeted a post that seemed to praise Biden's administration for pulling off ultimate workaround for a national COVID-19 vaccine requirement. President Biden announced proposed rules that would force private sector employees with more than 100 workers to either require them to be fully vaccinated or mandate that they undergo weekly tests. That option will be pulled from the table, ladies and gentlemen. That option will be pulled from the table. It's already been pulled from the military. For many people out there seeking religious exemption, it's gone. They're denying it. I've got multiple messages from people in the military right now saying they are being denied military exemption. They are forcing you. They are forcing you. Whether you believe it or not, there are many within the military refusing this vaccine. There are many. President Biden announced proposed rules that would force private sectors, employers with more than 100 workers to either, and that's going to change. That will change. To either require them to be fully vaccinated or mandate that they undergo weekly tests. Biden referred to the mandate as a new action plan. The rules would be enforced by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, also known as OSHA. OSHA can go fuck itself. Businesses that do not comply will face fines up to $14,000 per offense, an administration official told the Associated Press. The mandate is expected to have effect as many as 100 million Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not legal. They're making threats. They're making verbal threats saying this is what's going to happen, but you can't enforce it. It's illegal. Kristi Noem out there saying, okay, Biden, we'll see you in court. And the Biden administration is twisting this. And it's actually kind of ironic if you think about it. He's basically going after Ron DeSantis and threatening to remove him, to go around him. Do you want to talk about scary, ladies and gentlemen? Federal versus states' rights. When was another war fought over this? Regardless of the reasoning behind it, when was the other war fought over this? It wasn't that long ago in the history of the world and the history of America. When the federal government oversteps its bounds and starts infringing on states' rights, there's a problem. There's a serious problem. That's what Biden's trying to do. And he's utilizing the lives of the children to sway people's opinions, saying it's not a game. It's not something we played around with. You're right. But that's up to the parents to choose, not you. You don't have that right. You don't control our bodies. And from here on out, any leftist using this narrative of my body, my choice that is pro-vaccine mandation, you're a hypocrite and you need to shut the fuck up. You've been canceled. Your opinions have been canceled. Your ignorance has been canceled. Klain retweeted MSNBC and Stephanie Ruhle, who posted, OSHA doing this vax mandate as an emergency workplace safety rule is the ultimate workaround for the federal government to require vaccinations. They openly admit it. They openly admit it. Even the CDC director tweeted out, I think 2 months ago, saying she is not pushing for federally mandated vaccines. The Biden administration, not a few months ago, even said, I'll play it for you, even said this. Listen to this yourself, ladies and gentlemen. You want to talk about being caught up in lies? These are the lies.
No, I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory, but I would do everything in my power. Just like I don't think masks have to be made mandatory nationwide.
President Biden, right there, admits it. Here's another clip.
The federal government should step in
Jen Psaki.
and issue mandates, and if not, are you putting the needs of unvaccinated people ahead of the needs of vaccinated people?
Well, I think the question here, one, that's not the role of the federal government. That is the role that institutions, private sector entities, and others may take. That certainly is appropriate. Also,
So, what changed? What changed, ladies and gentlemen? I'll tell you what changed. The Biden administration took a beating in the polls. It won't be long before he is viewed as the worst president in history. The polling is showing this.
Oh, but I think we're there.
We're there.
We were there on January 20th.
Now they're scrambling for a win. And they're trying to violate your civil rights to do it and achieve that win. The New York Times pointed out that OSHA is tasked with the overseeing of workplace safety and has the authority to quickly issue a rule known as an emergency temporary standard that if that can show that workers are exposed to Ladies and gentlemen, we've been living with COVID for 18 months. If this was a pandemic of epic proportions, the death toll would be so much higher. And even the statistics that we currently have, we don't know if we can trust them or not because they've been politicized and weaponized. We don't know what the truth is. They're saying 600,000. That could be falsified. Thanks, MSM. That's your fault. Every single one of you journalists that do these political hit pieces that you smear and you tear down and you lie for the sake of pushing your political narrative, you're at fault here. You are at fault. It's not the people. You've cried wolf so many goddamn times over xenophobia, racism, white supremacy. You have generals sitting there doing these 60-day stand-downs. You got Miley out there talking about wanting to understand white rage. All these cosmetic bullshit details that are rooted in just lies. And you covered this. And you smeared people relentlessly. You called us Nazis. You called us fascists. You called us the very same things that you continue to practice to this day. You have an organization from the left called Antifa for anti-fascism. And then you look up the definition of fascism and how that's quickly progressed and changed. That was once thought of as a right-leaning movement at the government level that has actually been the exact opposite. They use violent means to suppress those that disagree with them politically. That is not, if the very definition of fascism. And it's been supported. You sit there in your ivory towers and you cast blame on those that choose not to get this vaccination. That, by the way, the definition of what it actually does has fluctuated more times than fucking Oprah Winfrey's cholesterol levels. You've lied. The emails have surfaced. The people don't trust you. And now you're finally starting to wake up to why you should never trust your government. And I'll take it a step further. Putting on the uniform to serve this administration is no longer patriotic. The administration is tyrannical. Patriotism is standing against that which goes against liberty. And this administration is doing that. So military members, I challenge you to think about what you're doing right now. I was one of you. I love my country. I love the military. But patriotism is speaking out for what's right, even when many consider it wrong. So these lieutenant colonels, these generals, these officer corps motherfuckers, these cowards behind uniforms, I'm talking to you. Your day will come. That uniform will not protect you, because if the courts fail and the people take to the streets, like it will happen, you're up. You're up. These aren't threats, ladies and gentlemen. This is the course that could potentially happen. And I pray it doesn't. I pray it doesn't. But you need to wake the fuck up. You need to wake the fuck up. You are supporting tyranny. You are going against your oath. You are going against the Constitution. What does that make you? What does that make you, if not the enemy of America? Ted Cruz reacts. Senator Ted Cruz, Republican out of Texas, a critic of Biden's announcement, retweeted a post warning claim the courts can consider intention when hearing cases, and the retweet could prove to be problematic during future challenges. Important, Cruz tweeted. Foolish retweet from the White House chief of staff. He said the quiet part out loud. Biden administration knows it's likely illegal. Illegal. Like the eviction moratorium, but they don't care. The flagrant disregard for the law shows you it's tyrannical. The senator was referring to the Supreme Court's ruling last month that blocked the Biden administration from continuing a temporary eviction ban in place due to the coronavirus. The court said the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention lacked the authority to reimpose moratorium earlier that month without congressional approval. OSHA. We're relying upon OSHA. Fucking snakes. You snakes. I almost want to be like an Alex Jones about you goddamn.
He was right all along.
They're fucking blah blah blah. I
Alex
will
is
fight
right.
you.
Alex was right all along. They are reptiles.
They're turning the frogs gay. Biden disappointed in GOP governors who plan to resist vaccine mandate. He says, and I quote, have at it. This is our president, ladies and gentlemen. This is our president. Biden ordered a sweeping mandate. Mandate, not law, mandate. Okay? We dealt with this for the last year in Texas. It's been mandated. You have to require masks. Suck my dick. We still don't require masks here in Shell Shock. Because they said Dallas County, you have to enforce mask policies. Go fuck yourself. No.
Yeah.
And guess what? Nobody fucking cares.
And according to some emails that came out, find it on Fox News, it was the school board, the school union, that was really putting the pressure on for mask mandates.
Yeah. Because they want fucking people. Yeah, because they want essentially the power stripped from the people.
Yeah, the CDC came out and said you don't have to wear a mask. Fauci even said it came out and you don't have to wear a mask. But then the CDC came out, the school union, saying that
They're trying to weapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
like we'll come out and we'll say some negative things about it because the teachers union is the biggest supporter of Democrats financially, and I really don't see how that's
a good thing.
Legal because they're paid by tax dollars, so it's essentially us funding that. So bullshit.
Biden orders sweeping mandate requiring all employers with more than 100 workers enforce vaccinations. Like I sat here and I really thought about this. I'm like, wait a minute. So if my loved one does not want to get this vaccination, now that person is in jeopardy of losing their job, their livelihood. They're even talking about like locking down grocery stores, saying you can't even go shop for groceries unless you have proof of vaccination. That's going to lead to violence. And I know where it's going to start. The businesses that impose this, and I know you're put in between a rock and a hard place, but eventually it's going to pull you in if it goes to that level. The businesses will be burned to the ground.
That's what the BLM did.
BLM did it. I mean, yeah. There won't be any investigations for that. If a business chooses to enforce a vaccination requirement for you to shop there and the courts fail, the businesses will be burned to the ground. People will go in there and they will steal your product, especially groceries. You withhold that which they need because you're trying to impose a tyrannical belief, have at it. I mean, you choose which side you want to be on because eventually it's going to come to your doorstep. If the courts fail, and I am praying, and I mean this, I'm being sincere, I hope the courts do the right thing. I'm not calling for violence, but I am saying be prepared. I mean that. I will not take a vaccination. Mainly because you're telling me what to do, and I don't like that.
I know.
If that's not the most American motherfucking thing there is that exists on this country, then I don't know what is. You telling me what I have to do. I don't like that. I do not like that. We've been pushed around long enough.
Some scumbag politician who's produced nothing over the course of his 50 years in a political office.
Fuck that cocksucker.
I know.
Fuck Joe Biden. It's trending right now, by the way. Hashtag FJB. Fuck Joe Biden's trending all over Twitter, Instagram. I may have had something. I may have tried to contribute to that a little bit. Actually, a lot, probably. Whatever. President Biden said he's disappointed in the Republican governors who plan to resist his vaccine mandate and are threatening legal action. I'm so disappointed, Biden said Friday during a visit to the Brooklyn Middle School after he told a reporter to have at it regarding a question about Republicans who have pushed back on a 6-point coronavirus plan. Particularly, some Republican governors have been so cavalier with the health of these kids. No, that's actually not what has happened. What has happened is saying, parents, it's up to you to make the decision. It's up to you to make the choice, as it should be. It is your personal responsibility to look out for the livelihood and safety of your children. It's not the government's responsibility. So cavalier with the health of our communities. The very same guy that sniffs children suddenly is using children as his political gambit to score hit points on the opposing side. Very interesting. This isn't a game, he added. Oh, I agree, Mr. President. It's not. You are taking America down a path of civil war. And I know that term has been so loosely thrown around in the past, but I have never seen America in this condition. Not to this level. And what scares me even more is if for some reason, God forbid, we do go down that path, America's a sitting fucking duck because China and Russia are watching. That's why Texas shouldn't secede or even the cards be put on the table. We have to stand in unity. We have to stand with our other states. To sit there and say we should cede is like I said, take our ball and go home. No, that's not the Texas way. That's not Texas. Texas is just as much as part of this country as every other state out there. To sit there and say that we quit, fuck that. No, absolutely not. We stand in unison with our other red states. They need us now more than ever, and we need them. To sit there and call for secession is just a fool's dream. That's ridiculous. It was Prather. I'm not holding back. It was Chad Prather who called for this. It's ridiculous. He's running for governor. He's not getting my vote. I can't do that. I'm sorry. It's just no. I think it's going to come down to Alan West and Greg Abbott. Prather, no. Calling for secession is a foolish move. It's an insanely foolish move. I cannot agree with that.
Colonel West already had my vote as soon as I heard that he was running.
I think West has probably got the ball. I cannot believe Prather said that. I saw the tweet. I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you saying?
I feel like that comes up every year, though. Or whenever there's a Democrat in office, because it was tossed around a lot when Obama was president, like Texas.
Texas does not need to isolate itself economically. That's foolish. That is so foolish.
And it's the chances of that ever happening is, I don't know, very, very, very small. The smallest percentage that you could possibly think of.
Biden says, we've got to come together. I think the vast majority, look at the polling data. The vast majority of it, look at the polling data, Mr. President. Your ratings are in the dumpster. You're a dumpster fire. The vast majority of the American people know we have to do these. They're hard but necessary. We're going to get them done. Thank you. Biden, who was joined by First Lady Jill Biden and Education Secretary Miguel Cardona, said D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser concluded at the event. The visit comes after Biden ordered a sweeping mandate on Thursday requiring about 17 million workers at health facilities who receive federal Medicare and Medicaid will also be required to get the vaccination. He is literally going to withhold your health insurance. He is literally going to weigh this over your head. They are trying to economically force you into submission. It's a smart move. I will not deny that. It's a smart move.
I was curious how they're going to roll out the mark of the beast, but this just makes sense.
It does. It's getting to the point now where it's just like, Jesus Christ. I can't believe we're at this juncture in our country's history. And here's what he said that really got my blood boiling. He says, this is the president. This is the president of the United States of America addressing the 340 million people that comprise America. And he said, we've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us. Those are charged words, ladies and gentlemen. Those are words that are They're levying accusations as if it's the unvaccinated people's faults for the deaths of those that are already vaccinated. As if it was our fault that before the vaccination was even rolled out, the deaths that occurred, it's our fault. No. The science has already shown that it's not. They said in certain parts of the country, with over half of the country vaccinated, I think it was something like 200 million Americans are vaccinated, we were up 300% in COVID outbreaks. So explain that to me, please, because that doesn't make sense to me. And again, I am not a doctor. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not a virologist. I don't know these things. But what I do know is I want to be responsible for my own safety. And when I feel like my government is no longer able to give me accurate reporting or accurate information because, they've politicized everything, then I'll make the decisions myself. And if my decisions are wrong, I bear the responsibility of said decisions. Me and me alone. But to sit there and levy this passive-aggressive, veiled threat, our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost us all. Didn't Biden say that we need to unite? And then you turn around and you try and pin the deaths of fellow Americans on those that are unvaccinated when Fauci himself even said the vaccination does not stop the spread. It does not stop you from getting it. It only lessens the symptoms. This has been said repeatedly, and you are ignoring the science. So what the fuck are you trying to push a vaccination for? Because that makes no sense to me at this point. None. Let me say this again, ladies and gentlemen, and listen to this. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost us all. Our patience is wearing thin. What the fuck are you going to do, Biden? The fuck are you going to do? The administration does not seem to realize that the majority is not in favor of him. They're not in agreement with him. What the fuck are you going to do? We won't comply. Fuck off. I'll resort to every technique, every method I can, every underhanded, sneaky, illegal fucking way to subvert and undermine you. Because that's the position you put every single American that stands against you in. Afghanistan's going to look like a walk in the fucking park. The withdrawal. It's going to be 10 times worse for you as far as what the polls are going to reflect. Come 2024, you're getting buried. Afghanistan debacle, walk in the park. It's going to look worse for you what you're doing right now. You should have went some other direction to score your win. This ain't the way. It's going to blow up in your face. Republicans across the country, however, have already slammed the sweeping new rules as unconstitutional, and red states are gearing up for legal battles. The American dream has turned into a nightmare under President Biden, and the radical Democrats, Republican South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster said on Twitter in response to the mandate, they have declared war against capitalism, thumbed their noses at the Constitution, and empowered our enemies abroad. Rest assured, we will fight them to the gates of hell to protect the liberty and livelihood of every South Carolinian, he added. Well, Texas Governor Greg Abbott tweeted out Thursday evening, Biden's vaccine mandate is an assault on private businesses. I issued an executive order protecting Texans' right to choose whether they get COVID vaccine and added it to the special sessions agenda. Texas is already working to halt its power grab. Republican governors aren't alone in their fight against the mandate, with the Republican National Committee also vowing to sue. This will be held up in the courts for a very long time. A very long time. This is going to staunch Biden's movement forward. But again, Ben Shapiro called this, and I agree with him. I was talking to Josh about this earlier. Again, I am not a pro-law guy. I will be the first one to tell you when it comes to once it hits the courts, I know nothing. Mm-hmm. I go by what I'm told, at least by those whom I trust. And Ben Shapiro actually made a very good point. He said that essentially Biden knows this is going to fail. Now, I'm no genius when it comes to how things operate at the judicial level in regards to the courts and things such as that. But I do know that the highest court in the land that you can appeal to for a situation like this is the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court right now leans right, for the most part. Biden knows this plan is futile. He's going to lose. But he's using this as a means of blaming somebody as to why it failed. Biden knows he cannot combat the pandemic. He can't. There's no way. It's going to have to be something that we live with for the rest of our lives. We will eventually grow herd immunity if we haven't already.
Do you think Justice Roberts I mean, you got 4 for sure.
Yeah, I think he'll do the right thing.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Hell no.
I guess we'll have to see. I think there's a lot of Democrats though, because I'm seeing there are a lot of Democrats that are saying we don't agree with this. Like, we agree with being vaccinated, but they don't agree with the pro-forced vaccine. I don't know, man. I hope they do the right thing. But the point
I hope they
being,
do the
though,
right thing too. But they've had
Yeah.
plenty of opportunity to do the right thing in the past, and they haven't. So
Well, now it's good. I think eventually it's going to come down to them. I mean, we'll see. But if it does fail, then we're in trouble. Then, I mean, that's one of those of like, hey, we still have a few tricks up the sleeves legally. After that, then it's going to be a problem. Because at that point, it's going to come down to civil disobedience.
Well, it's got to be civil disobedience right now.
Yeah, well, I
it's
mean,
got to
yeah,
be
yeah.
like businesses right now,
Yeah.
like us, who say,
Yeah.
no, you don't have to wear a mask when you come here. No,
fuck that.
our employees, you don't have to get a vaccine.
And you know, they also made another good point that there is literally no feasible way possible for them to monitor every single small business in America. It's impossible.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's the IRS.
No, I'm talking about as far as actually monitoring if they're doing what's right in regards to vaccine and mask mandates, like enforcing it on their people. Like, it's literally impossible. Because if you think
For the masks, I think they do like the just Gestapo sending, the goose steppers around checking.
they haven't fucked with us. I mean, we've been fortunate. We vote because I was kind of like, do we say it? Because if we say it, we put a target on our back. But at the same time, that motivates other people to join you. And that's why I say these other veteran influencers and companies, you need to be speaking out right now. Like, now is the time that you need to be screaming loud, and you're not.
And these companies with the 100+ employees, if all those employees quit, then what are you going to do? Let's say 80% of your staff or your employees say, nope, not doing it. We're going to walk away.
And that's what people need to understand, that they have the power. The employees have the power.
And right now, if you're unemployed, you could cash in a nice big check at the end of the month.
I'm pretty sure he's going to take that and he's going to try and freaking pull that out of there to where, like, if you do get fired for refusing to take the vaccination, you're also going to be disqualified from receiving unemployment. I mean, if I was to put myself in his position, that's the way I would go as far as enforcing this on the masses. Like, you cut them all off financially.
You're definitely moving some chess pieces around.
Yeah,
but
100%.
At the end of the day, it comes down to the people have the power. And you stay home long enough, you don't work long enough.
Yeah.
These businesses are begging people to come back to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me just give y'all an example here, okay? Let's just give you an example. And this is just to show you how much power you, the employees, have when you unite against tyranny. If it's shell shock, we have like 10, 8, 9 employees. If every single employee came together, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but fuck, whatever. Now, we treat our people good. If every single employee came together and I said, I'm going to force the vaccine on you, and they said, hey, if this decision you take, we're all walking out. What is that going to do to us?
That's going to make things very difficult.
We're fucked. We will get through it. But that means Josh and I are working our asses off. And that means it just cost us probably well over like $50,000 in employees. That's going to be now this is a business of like 8 or 9 employees. Imagine a business with over 100 employees. Look at Andy Frisella. Like, Andy Frisella, I love it. I fucking love this guy. Like, the more I get to talk to Andy,
I'm a little jealous.
I know, right? Like, no one will ever replace you, Josh. I will always love you. If anything, maybe we can coordinate a 3-way with 3. I don't know. We'll see. But Andy did a response on his Instagram. He said, my response to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden does his thing. And the next slide is like Andy throwing his head back and laughing his ass off. I was like, I'm not fucking doing it. But you look at someone like Andy Frisella in first form. Imagine if all of his employees came together, which they wouldn't. They're all pro-freedom. I love that about him and his company. But imagine if they all came together and said, hey, Andy, if you try to enforce this, we walk. Andy's business goes under. They're done. Like, you cannot hire people, get them trained fast enough to keep that business afloat. You will start hemorrhaging money like you've never fucking seen. And the social media backlash you'll take from doing something like that. Horrible. So, employees, you have the power. Truckers, you want to talk about being at like the heart of the economy in America? If every single truck, it wouldn't even take every single trucker. If a good chunk of truckers said, and most truckers are blue-collar fucking Americans that work their asses off, that don't like their people being fucked with their money or their hiring and taxes, are being told, most truckers, you don't understand the power that you have. If a truckers union put out and said, we strike, like, also, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, these unions that you're paying your dues to that are not fighting for your medical freedoms, what the fuck are you doing? Is that not in your best interest as far as being in a union? Maybe now you're starting to see that some of these unions don't give a fuck about you and it's a cash grab. It's like your Hassan Pikers, your open socialists. They try and pander to you to represent the little guy, and you simps buy into it. And then when they're finally put in that position where they can do something, they go out and buy $3 million houses. They are lying to you. They are using you. Look at the BLM leadership. $1 million houses in predominantly white neighborhoods. And no money going back into local BLM chapters. Interesting how that works. But truckers, you hold the power. You stop the wheels of commerce, and you stop America. To include Biden himself. The gas shortage, the food shortage, you starve them, you cripple them. That's the way to go. That's how you fight back. So right now, every single military person in my DMs, every single person out there asking me, John, how do we fight back? Organize. Organize. You'll be surprised how many people in the same office as you agree with you. Organize and develop a plan and have the balls to follow through with it. Because do not sit there and do something for appearance's sake. Do it for fucking real. Don't do it for a fucking photo op clout chase like a lot of these people are right now on social media. Don't do it. Be ready. Organize and say, here's the plan. If it comes down to say, now it's this, now you have to make the choice. All right, hey, employer, here's the choice you have to make. If you choose to move forward with this, 10 of us out of the 20 that you have, 15 of us out of the 20 that you have, we walk. We walk now. I said this before. You want to cripple somebody? You want to hit him in the heart? You hit him in the wallet. You hit him in the wallet, ladies and gentlemen. In the wallet, they have no course but to bend the knee to you, the majority. When you start costing these companies money, the companies are then forced to take a position of, okay, do I adhere to these vaccine mandates and stay in business, or do I adhere to the vaccine mandates and go out of business and therefore lose all money and my own livelihood? You put their nuts in a fucking vice and you've got control. That's how you fight back. Forget the government. Forget all this bullshit. At the small business level, organize and be ready to walk. Be ready to strike. That's how you do it. That is how America works, ladies and gentlemen. The people do have the power. You don't have to sit there and quit. You don't have to sit there and quit. Wait for it. Organize. Organize. Well, Texas Governor Greg Abbott tweeted out Thursday, Biden's vaccine mandate is an assault on private businesses. I issued an executive order protecting Texans' right to close whether they get COVID vaccine and added it to the special sessions agenda. Texas is already working to halt this power grab. Republican governors aren't alone in their fight against the mandate, with the Republican National Committee also vowing to sue. Joe Biden told Americans that he was elected that he would not impose vaccine mandates. He lied. We literally just listened to the clip. He lied. Now small businesses, workers, and families across the country will pay the price, RNC Chair Ronna McDaniel said. Like many Americans, I am pro-vaccine and anti-mandate. This is what the press does not want you to hear. This is what they don't want you to see. That pro-vaccine and pro-choice people are actually on the same side. Do not get it twisted. That's what the MSM wants from us, ladies and gentlemen. They want us to conflate the two. You don't have to. We're not anti-vax. We're not. Look, let me be clear here. I sincerely hope this vaccine actually works. I do. And if it does, and it is proven over a period of time to work, I'll get it. I will get it.
I won't.
Well, fuck you then.
I'm not a vaccine person.
But this is I hope it does work. I said, why wouldn't I? I'm not anti-vax. I'm not. But that's what the MSM wants you to believe. That we don't care about fellow American lives, which in truth, when you try and force me into that position, the answer is going to be no, I don't. Like, how many people have to die before you give up your guns? All of them. How many people have to die before your pro-vaccine mandate? All of them. Every single one of you motherfuckers got to be dead. Sorry. There is no cherry-picking freedom. There is no cherry-picking freedom, ladies and gentlemen. It just doesn't exist. Like many Americans, I am pro-vaccine and anti-mandate, she said. Many small businesses and workers do not have the money or legal resources to fight Biden's unconstitutional actions and authoritarian decrees. This is the other thing that blows my mind. Democrats and crybaby liberals, for 4 years, you sat there and you shit your pants relentlessly. Oh my God, Trump wants to have a military parade in New York. He's so authoritarian. And Trump just wants to praise the troops. And then he backed off. Said, okay, yeah, it's going to cost a lot of money. Probably shouldn't do it. Bad idea. Good intent, bad execution, folks. And then you got Biden. I'm going to force this on the people. My patience is wearing thin. You've cursed us a lot. Who the fuck sounds more authoritarian there? It does not take a political blind person to say, yeah, the old dude that's fucking senile that belongs in a nursing home, that guy needs to go because he's going to get Americans killed in a revolt. Even Crenshaw tweeted out, like, are you trying to cause a revolt? And again, Crenshaw is pro-vaccine. I don't agree with Crenshaw on this when he says, if I was in the military, I would just get the jab. I don't agree with that. But even Crenshaw's like, you are trying to start a revolt. And when Congressman Crenshaw, who I think he's a very level-headed guy. Again, I don't agree with a lot of it, but even when Crenshaw is coming out and saying something that, like, are you trying to start a revolt? There's weight in that statement. Like him or hate him, there's weight in that statement. Because Crenshaw does not buy into the hyperbole. Not for the most part. Not for the fevered emotional stuff. And again, I don't agree with him on where his stances are, but he says, he's for the vaccine, but not pro-mandate. I can respect that. Many small businesses and workers do not have the money and legal resources to fight Biden's unconstitutional actions and authoritarian decrees. But when his decree goes into effect, the RNC will sue the administration to protect Americans and their liberties. Ladies and gentlemen, this has not went into effect yet. So businesses saying that you have to do it. NASA put out a thing to their employees. I've got so many boots on the ground giving me information. I just don't have the time to share it all. NASA put out an email to their employees saying we're doing it now. You don't have to do it now, big businesses. You don't. It hasn't been initiated yet. You still got time. Fight it. But these big businesses, I think it's Walmart, Amazon, they're going to enforce it. And I don't think the majority of you realize that you work for Amazon, you work for Walmart. If you walk out, they are fucked. They are fucked.
Google,
all of them.
Facebook.
You walk out on these cocksuckers, they're done.
Twitter, Square.
All
these tech companies.
We've had dealings with Square in the past. Square.
I know.
I think we should just boycott Square no matter what because they're a bunch of goddamn liberals.
I would never use them.
Fuck Square.
Ever.
I can't say what I really want to say, which involves people. Never mind. I'm not going to do it. I can't. I have to really watch my words. I have to really watch what I say because I'm not trying to get banned. It's just insane to me. Ron DeSantis, Kristi Noem, Greg Abbott vow to fight Biden's vaccine tyranny. Governor Ron DeSantis, Kristi Noem, and Greg Abbott. And that's just three. There's a lot more getting involved in this. I think those are just three prominent ones right now. Biden going to fight Joe Biden's like, how can we get to the point in the country where you would want to have someone lose their job because of their choice about the vaccine or not? I mean, look, some folks have reasons to do. Maybe they're making the wrong decisions. But to put them out of work and not let them earn a living because of this, I just think that's fundamentally wrong. I do not believe that people should lose their jobs over this issue, and we will fight that. If they try to do that through a rule like the Department of Labor, I don't think they have the legal authority to do that. But we obviously would want to support protections for the people who are just trying to earn a living. Texas Governor Abbott announced on Twitter that the Lone Star State has already enacted measures to combat president's power grab. We already read that tweet about the executive order. This is Governor Kristi Noem. God bless her. You want to talk about a patriot? I think she's the only governor that didn't have a state shut down.
Yeah, she did.
She has the biggest balls in America right now. Mm-hmm. South Dakota. This is her tweet. I love this woman. Like, I love her. She gets me fired up. You want to talk about a patriot? That's it right here. She says South Dakota will stand up to defend freedom, and she adds, Joe Biden, see you in court. Whew. Fuck yes. I love that. Kristi Noem tweets out again on her private account, says, my legal team is standing by ready to file our lawsuit the minute Joe Biden files his unconstitutional rule. This gross example of federal intrusion will not stand. It's basically saying, jump, bitch. Jump, old man. I'll smack you back into the fucking nursing home where you're sniffing kids. I can't say what I really think about this president. Not on social media. In person, I'll tell you to you all day.
Yeah, it's crazy because Trump, you could say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anything.
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing was off the table.
No. Not at all.
But you say Hillary Clinton is see you next Tuesday.
She is.
You're not allowed on Twitter anymore. That's what they told me.
It's the truth. On Thursday, President Joe Biden announced this. Well, we already talked about this. You got to love this. I used to like this guy. Shock jockey Howard Stern. Howard Stern says to anti-vaxxers, you had the cure and you wouldn't take it. Look, old man, let me explain something to you real quick there, Howie boy. it ain't a cure. It ain't a cure.
I know. When did that?
Where
that
the
went
fuck did that
like
come from?
Anti-establishment to
Yeah, all these hard rockers,
like a big
all
liberal
these 100%,
muppet.
yeah, all these fucking anti-government, bucking the system. As you got older, you became pussies. You really did. You fell in line with the establishment.
Sellouts.
You are the establishment. Mr. Shock Jockey himself saying, "I'm not."
Shock jock.
What a fucking loser. Howard Stern is over the COVID-19 pandemic, is taking on anti-vaxxers who refuse to get the shot. Refusing the shot does not make you an anti-vaxxer. Stop conflating that. It doesn't. I'm already vaccinated. I'm just not trusting this one yet. Actually, truth be told, I probably actually won't ever get the COVID. I won't, because I've already had it.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Like, I'm all right. Like, I'm here. My lungs aren't scarred. My dick didn't shrink too much. I mean, it is what it is.
I'll tell you, I will never get it. I don't get flu shots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get this vaccine shot.
Yeah, but
I don't need
that's
to.
your choice. That should always be your choice. But
And
you
again-
had the possibility to get the cure, you loser.
But I was telling you that just here in Texas, over in Rockwall, that
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tell them about this. This is actually an interesting story. I didn't know about this. Josh found out about this.
yeah, my cousin was telling me, he lives over in Rockwall, and they've got like a big tent set up with, I don't know, 5-10 doctors, something like that. And you can go there. If you test positive for COVID, they'll give you some therapeutics to help treat it. So I'm like, what? Where have these things been? And
What kind of therapeutics, though, did he say?
he said ivermectin, the same stuff that Trump had. So I think like remdesivir. I have to look into it more, but I mean, those are the types of things that should have been going on from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Something where people can go to get some sort of therapeutics.
That
Something
goes-
could,
yeah.
not just, hey, you got COVID.
Yeah. Do nothing.
Yeah, go home.
Yeah.
And sit in a room by yourself for 15 days and go crazy and become an alcoholic or a drug addict.
Suicide rates to the roof.
Yeah.
Howard Stern is over the COVID-19 pandemic, is taking on anti-vaxxers who refuse to get the shot. Speaking on a Sirius XM satellite radio show about the recent deaths of several anti-vaxxer radio hosts, Stern said people who won't get vaccinated are idiots and called them for vaccinations to be mandatory. He says, when are we going to stop putting up with these idiots in this country and just say it's mandatory to get vaccinated? Fuck them. Fuck their freedom. I want my freedom to live, he said. I want to get out of the house already. I want to go next door and play chess. I want to go take some pictures. This is bullshit. Bro, the only reason that you're locked down is you allow it.
You pussy.
You pussy.
Who's stopping you?
Yeah, really. The government's stopping you? Fucking leave your house.
I
Tell
know
them to
you
fuck
get
off.
a ball
You
of
have
chain.
guns. Well, I mean, many people don't have guns. But you look at Australia. Even they're over there beating the cops' asses in these protests. Like, the cops are like, oh, fuck, they're out, and they're beating the fuck out of the cops. And the cops deserve it. You deserve it. These forced lockdowns, it ends when you say it ends. When you as a community get fed up enough and you realize, like, this is 1984 verbatim, you won't be locked down.
And this dummy's worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
And these types, like, ladies and gentlemen, these types are your enemies. These are your enemies. These are enemies of freedom. They're the very same ones that would like line you up and force that jab into your arm saying, tough, you're going to get it. Can you just like picture in your mind that right now, that they will come to your house and say, you will either take this jab or you're going to go to jail. And I'll be like, okay. I think it boils down then to who can get their gun first. I mean, so you will not forcefully inject me with it. You won't.
Let me get my wallet. I'll be right back.
Exactly. I was like, you will fight me. You will fight me. And it's going to be to the death. I will tell you that right now. You will not come to my house and force this jab on me. If you do, you better bring guns. You're going to need them. You're going to need them. These aren't empty words. These are not veiled threats. I will not be forced to put anything into my body without my permission. Unless it's anal. In which case, I'm totally down. But we got to use lube. Penis. No. There's a lot of people that feel the same way, and the very same people that sent over to Afghanistan are also a lot of the same people like, fuck around and find out. You think we didn't learn what the Taliban did over there? You think we didn't learn guerrilla warfare tactics from them? Bro, you're going to find out real good. And it won't be a civil war that's like toe-to-toe in the streets. It won't be anything like that. And I'm not going to advertise how I think it'll go, like in depth. But I'm telling you this right now, it will not go the way you think it's going to go. It will not be a force on force. It won't. That'd be foolish. It'll go an alternative way. And Biden started it. Biden started it. And I hope it doesn't go that way. But how far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go to defend freedom? Again, he says, when are we going to stop putting up with these idiots in this country and just say it's mandatory to get vaccinated? Fuck them. Fuck their freedom. What hypocrisy. Fuck their freedom? Like, fuck it. Like, even Schwarzenegger.
I want to play chess. I got this ball and chain, though, keeping me from leaving
I've got this ball and
my
chain that I
penthouse.
put on myself that the government said to put on myself. You're literally in a prison of your own making. You can walk outside. Just say no. If the people rose up together and said no, there would be no lockdowns. I mean, what are they going to do?
Could he have gone to that Black Lives Matter
Oh,
party
yeah,
that they
or the-
had
or the
where de
Lollapalooza in
Blasio
Chicago, yeah.
painted it on the streets?
Oh, yeah.
He could have gone to that, right?
Where were all these fucking idiots when that was going on?
I want to play chess.
I want to play. I want to take photographs. This is bullshit. I'm so anti-establishment, but I'm so establishment. What a bitch. Howard Stern, you fucking cuck. What a bitch you are. I can just see you sitting there in your chair with your little studio there and saying this bullshit. Like, what a fucking bitch you are. Didn't you once take on, like, mainstream radio to be, like, one of the first premier shock jockeys besides Don What's-His-Nuts? Like, really? This is where you're at now? I want to go outside.
I'm scared.
I'm so scared. You fucking cowards. You fucking little pussies. It's funny. But he'll turn around and probably thank a veteran for his sacrifice for his freedom, and then turn around and tell you, screw your freedom. Even Schwarzenegger. Screw your freedom. Dude, fuck you and your Nazi father. Go back over to Austria. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Tired of this bullshit. Screw your freedom. Then fucking do something about it. Do something about it. You motherfuckers. Stern, who is vaccinated, is also frustrated over COVID patients who choose not to get vaccinated, causing hospitals to be overwhelmed. If you have a heart attack or any kind of problem, you can't even get into an ER. I'm really of my mind to say, look, if you didn't get vaccinated, you got COVID, you don't get into a hospital. Oh, so now you want to deny people medical rights. But aren't you the same people that said bake the cake, bigots? Aren't you the very same people that said that? Oh, so then, but I thought healthcare was a right. I thought healthcare was a right. Are y'all not the same group that said that healthcare is a right? Oh, but if it doesn't meet the criteria that you set forth, then it's no longer a right. You are so flagrant in your hypocrisy that it is fucking mind-blowing. You like have mind aids in my mind. Like that shit is just eating up your fucking brains and you have no consistency of thought. None. Healthcare is a right. I have a right to the services you provide. But then if you don't get vaccinated, you shouldn't have a right to those services. So then you're going to say these are the conditions that should be met for it to be a right. As long as it coincides with your political belief and ultimately is about your safety. What a pussy, Howard Stern. I hope somebody fucking pops that dude in the fucking head with a baseball bat, you piece of shit. For emphasis, he added, you had the cure and you wouldn't take it. Douchebag with the glasses. Somebody needs to explain to you. I know you're not that intelligent. You're great at fucking commenting. You're wonderful at that. I get that. But you're not very intelligent. The vaccine's not a cure. The president's admitted it. The CDC's admitted it. Fauci admitted it. It's not a cure. This will not prevent you from getting COVID. So to label it as a cure is wrong. But that's because you're fucking stupid. Maybe you should stay home. I mean, if you think about it, maybe they should stay inside because do we really want these people in our society?
Those people aren't staying home. He's not wearing it. You think?
Oh, fuck no, he's not wearing a mask.
If he got COVID, he'd be the first one to go out
Oh,
and
yeah.
get ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, remdesivir, like anything that you could possibly think of. That's exactly what he would go and do.
Dude's a fucking liar.
Yeah, so it's
What a liar. Well, that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we're at. Take a stand, develop a plan, come together as a group, and basically you're going to have to leverage against your employer. If your business decides to go that route, stand up and be Americans. Don't be little bitches. Don't be little fucking cowards. And you other veteran influencers, I'm telling you, I'm watching. And I'm waiting for you to say something. And if you say nothing, when it mattered most, I will remember it. The veteran community will remember it. So the very same community that you're sitting there using to make your millions of dollars off of, the very same premises of freedom and liberty that you're not defending, that you're not speaking out on behalf of and trying to encourage the people like I'm doing and many others, we're going to remember this. And if your sale suffers as a result, so be it. But we're hitting to a point now where you either say something or you shut the fuck up about freedom. There's going to come a reckoning. There's going to come an atonement for you brands out there that promote freedom, liberty, yada, yada, yada. And then when the time comes for it to stir the people, to get their fucking dicks hard for liberty, you say nothing. Because you care so much about the almighty dollar. You care so much about the almighty dollar that you're not willing to stand for what's right. I'm waiting. I'm watching and I'm listening. The archetype of the bro vet that did the car rants, that now we do it in a studio, so it's not as bro vet-ish. I'm waiting. I called this since 2015. I've been preaching this for fucking years. Where are you? Many of you came against me. Oh, he's just ranting. It was like I was like a political prophet back in the day saying, hey guys, we got a problem here. The military is weakening. And look what we got now. A bunch of cringe-ass fucking boots making TikToks, making the military look soft as fuck. We've got generals that are black supremacists, that are white, self-hating liberals. You've got a compromised military. You've got an officer corps that is predominantly liberal, that has bent the knee to this woke generation of bullshit. You've got people that I honestly do not trust our military to go over and do what's needed to be done. I think half of them don't have the stomach for it. And I certainly know our political leaders don't. Especially to do what's fucking right. So I encourage each one of you that are watching this, each one of you that follow these veteran influencers, that follow these veteran companies that promote freedom and liberty and boobs, guns, and pew, 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 and all this other bullshit. Watch them. Watch them right now. I hope this shames them. I hope this pressures them. Because when it comes to freedom, we can pull no fucking punches. Every single one of us should be unified. So when you do open your mouth, welcome to the movement. Welcome to the group. But if you don't, you better believe we will remember it. We will remember it. And the word's already getting out about these mainstream companies that are through back channels and internal comms are saying, hey, you should probably get the jab. You should probably get the jab. And yet you turn around and you say you stand for liberty. What hypocrites. Because that almighty dollar, that's guiding you. That's guiding you right there. You care more about the dollar than you about the rights of the people and the Constitution that even majority of you that run these companies actually served and swore an oath to. Crazy. Fucking crazy. All right. That concludes this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a good day. Do not lose faith. Encourage each other. It ain't the end. It's not the end. You have every right to be mad. You have every right to contact your representative. You have every right to talk to your fellow employees and develop a plan. You have every right to feel the feelings that you're feeling right now. It's a lot of feels.
It's a lot of feels.
That's a lot of feels. We're in our feels today.
It's filled up with feels over here.
We're feeling the filled up feels tank.
We're in a field of feels.
We're in a field of feels. I like that. Mm-hmm. You can check us out, ladies and gentlemen. This episode is brought to you by ShellShockCBD.com. We just released a pet tincture of peanut butter flavored CBD oil for your pets. How you give it to them is none of my business.
We don't ask.
We don't ask, and you don't tell.
That's right.
There we go. You stay savage, America.